G'day, I'm Phillips, the Motley Fool Chief Investment Officer in Australia, and welcome to Stock of the Month. This is our marquee video service, or series, if I can say that, because this is the one time a month, where we take a Motley Fool recommendation, a current buy recommendation. We give it to you free, and we pull back the curtain on the analysis we've done to recommend that company to our members. Now, it's not a brand new recommendation. It's an existing recommendation. Members always go first at the Motley Fool. So if you remember and you're watching this, by the way, if you're asking yourself, what are they doing giving away stuff for free? I might as well address that up front. We're doing it because we are trying to do a couple of things. Firstly, we're trying to realistically be part of the marketing effort for the Motley Fool. Let's be really, really clear about what this is. And it's the same sort of marketing effort that probably brought you inside as a Motley Fool member. And if you did, I'm grateful for that. What it means is we get to share with you, I think, a pretty cost-effective way, some of the research, some of the advice, some of the recommendations that our team have made. The other reason, well, two other reasons. Secondly, we kind of want to show you how the sausage is made. We think that's absolutely relevant, whether you're a member or not. We hope this gives you extra context to the recommendation that we've made. That's really important. And I guess thirdly, we're in the education business. You know, the Motley Fool way back in the day was to amuse, enrich, and entertain. And that kind of idea of helping amuse, educate, and enrich. Anyway, the idea was we wanted to be part of our mission, helping our members and non-members learn a bit more about investing. It's kind of part of our purpose, right? And yes, a lot of financial types do their financial stuff just about the numbers and just trying to make money. We have a broader purpose at the Motley Fool, and that might sound a bit over the top, and if it does, so be it. But we genuinely want to help more Australians invest better. So that's why we come out from behind the paywall from time to time and share with you a recommendation. Now, only one a month. There's plenty more. By the way, if you're interested, feel free to join. If you're already joined, thanks. I hope you know that we give lots more content than just this one. This is just our chance to share a bit outside the paywall for all of those reasons. And when I say we, it's me and one of the Motley Fool analysts today, pleased to be joined by Motley Fool Director of Research, Ryan Newman. Ryan, g'day.
G'day, Scott. I'll add to that as well.
Please.
What I really like about these recommendations that we bring is it really showcases, I suppose, the type of businesses that we're bringing or that we're recommending to members.
Yep.
These are long-term businesses or long-term investments that we really like because of the fundamentals of the business. We're not following three-letter tick codes on the market. Yep. We're following an actual business run by actual people solving real-world problems. And that's what this company does as well that we're going to talk about today.
That's a lovely segue, mate. Well done. But also a really important, thanks for adding to that, because it really does matter. And I think the way we invest, both if you're inside, it's proof of work, and from the outside, it's kind of just hopefully proof of concept, right? The idea of how we think it is worth investing. And if you do join, you don't have to, it's just free. Just walk away, take the stock tip and walk. But if you do join, you know a little bit about what to expect when you're inside the walls, inside our community, our Motley Fool paid community. Bigger community outside as well, including here and on our podcast and other places, but the inside paid community as well. Mate, you mentioned the company. You know what I also love about investing is, obviously we like making money, we like portfolios going up, we like helping our members. There's something really cool, if you're a bit of a business nerd, as you and I are, in looking at companies you otherwise would not have even knew existed. And this is a particular one, right? A billing company for utilities. You kind of, that sounds pretty boring. And yet, you've recommended this one before. The company is Gentrak. The code is GTK. Now, I've given a very top line, 3-word summary of what it does, but tell us about the business of Gentrak, if you would.
Scott, I'll start by saying Gentrak is actually a New Zealand-based software company. It trades on the ASX and the New Zealand Stock Exchange. And look, because I like the company so much, I'm going to claim it as Australian. So
that's what we do.
We'll say New Zealand and Australia-based. But Scott, you hit the nail on the head with utilities-based business. It actually has two different businesses though, and they're both, I suppose, very different purpose, but also a very similar mission. Mission that they're trying to solve. And I'll start with the utilities business. Basically, they're targeting energy and water, and really this is an end-to-end solution, for looking after the customers. So we're talking about billing, customer management software, meter data, payments, customer onboarding, digital back office sort of stuff as well. This is super, super important software that sits at the core of the customers' businesses because, I mean, think about it. If a utilities business isn't able to generate revenue, how can they actually pay their staff? How can they continue to operate? So this is incredibly important stuff. It's really mission critical, and we'll come back to mission critical in a moment. The software though that they actually implement with the utilities companies, as I said, particularly with energy and water, this is really specialized software for those markets. And again, I'll come back to that in a moment. The airports business, that is, as I said, a separate business unit, has its own website, completely separate from the utilities business. But this business is called Viovo. And essentially, this is airport management software. So it's passenger flow, operations, billing, forecasting, you name it. It's really the operations side of an airport. So that's really what the company does. As I said, it's software-based business, but really focuses on both utilities and then airports. So two completely different business units.
And I love that they're two different business units, but with kind of similarities, right? You kind of, sometimes things belong together, sometimes they don't. At first blush, these are entirely different. What are they doing together? On the second hand, as you say, mission critical software for, you didn't use the word, but for pretty niche purposes, right? It's like we do a thing, we do it really, really well. We want to be best in the business. We want to have something we can offer to multiple customers in these kinds of areas. So very, very different, entirely separate, as you say. And yet conceptually, the same type of business approach, the same type of investment approach, corporate strategy comes, I would say from the outside, you may disagree, by the way, and do if you want to, but it's the same kind of idea of taking something that's mission critical, relatively niche, very specialized, and doing it really, really well. Let's go to the Gentrack business case or the investment case. And I say this every time, but I'll say it again. A few things. Firstly, this is general advice, not personal advice. If you're watching this, we're not telling you what you personally should do. We don't know your circumstances. We're telling you what we think about Gentrack. It's a buy. I've already told you that. But it doesn't mean you should necessarily buy the shares. You have to do what you want to do. Secondly, this is at a point in time. We're recording this in early December 2025. If you're watching this in a week or a month or a year or 10 years or the internet's forever, remember that we're talking about it at a point in time. Anything could have changed for good or for ill after this recording. Thirdly, just please be mindful of the fact that our recommendations do change based on that basis, right? So by the time you watch this, maybe, we're long-term investors. I suspect the recommendation won't change too quickly, but hey, I don't know what comes out tomorrow. So keep those things in mind for me as you watch the rest of the video. And then Ryan, when we talk about the investment case, there's a difference between a company and an investment, right? We can like what the company does conceptually, doesn't necessarily make it a good investment. In this case, you think it is. So talk us through the investment case, the reasons for an investment in Gentrak shares.
Scott, you said a moment ago that it really has that mission critical focus across both utilities and airports. It goes even deeper than that. And essentially what it's trying to do with both of these sets of software solutions is it's really trying to help those customers across those industries to come into a sustainable era. So enabling them to evolve basically during a time of immense change. I suppose this is particularly insightful, I suppose, for the utilities business and especially for electricity. If you think historically, often it's been a very unidirectional flow of energy. So you've got the energy actually generated, it flows into the household or a business or some other building, it's consumed. And then at some point in the future, someone will come around, read the meter, report back to the utility-based business, say this is what the customers used, and then the company will bill you for it. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's a lot more complicated because of, I suppose, the advancements in technology, the advancements in what is available to customers. And just using three very simple examples: solar panels, electric vehicles, batteries. These are all factors that make the system no longer a unidirectional system, but very much a multi-directional system, where energy is flowing both back and forth between the energy company and the end consumer. Now, using old or the more traditional software packages, so from the likes of SAP, Oracle, these sort of software packages were equipped to deal with utilities-based businesses, broadly speaking, so across any utility, basically. They're not equipped to handle the kind of multi-directional flows that now exist in electricity. They're not equipped to deal with a lot of the payment packages or offerings that a lot of these utilities businesses have to offer. So essentially, if companies like a lot of the energy producers or energy retailers want to actually offer their customers, if they want to offer these updated packages, they need to update their software to a cloud-based solution like what Gentrak has to offer. Water-based businesses as well, probably not quite as revolutionary. It's probably not quite as required at this point as it is for electrical businesses, but it is becoming that way. And there's very much that regulatory push, as I said, changes in technology that is making this increasingly necessary. I'll continue on with airports as well. Again, it's really about bringing these airports into the 21st century, making sure that they're equipped to handle efficiencies, to operate in the most efficient way, to take advantage of revenue opportunities, of cost saving opportunities as well. So those are incredibly important. But Scott, coming back to the question and the investment case itself, I've sort of spoken, I guess, about the why, but in terms of why I like it so much, these, I said, are very mission critical solutions. It's a solution that lives at the core of the business, of the customers that it's actually being implemented into. Once it's installed, it is incredibly hard to take out, or incredibly risky to take out of that business. And I suppose as well, one other thing that is really going for Gentrak, from what I've discovered as well, is that they have a very, very strong track record for actually installing these systems, which is incredibly important because, as I said, if you get this installation and this implementation wrong, it's incredibly risky. Companies are going to look for a company like Gentrak, who has that strong track record, to actually take on their business going forward. So those are a couple of the reasons that I really like Gentrak.
Just quietly, mate, too, you kind of talked about our viewers getting a chance to see what we like about some of these businesses and the sort of businesses that we like. And I love Gentrak for that because it really is, I'll say your style in particular at Motley Fool North Star, the way you're looking for growth businesses, software as a service businesses, mission critical businesses. These are the sorts of things you like and look for. And I love this as a really nice example of exactly that. And it gives our viewers a really strong sense of that. I also, there's something really cool, and at a bigger picture level, as you're mentioning, the ability for software providers in particular to come and kind of provide a very special service that can be really easily scaled out across multiple customers using the cloud. You mentioned cloud before, and that's, I think, really, really important. Gone are the days, not entirely, but of the big enterprise resource planning systems, the SAPs of the world and the Oracles of the world, being everywhere because they're just bigger. The ability to use the internet to be really niche, really specific, really mission critical for some of these companies is a huge opportunity for the businesses they're in. As you say, then they become really sticky because they do a really good job. But defraying that investment and that best-in-class delivery across these multiple customers, one software change, every customer gets it. It is the beauty of cloud software in general. But in particular, when it comes to this niche offerings, having the always updated, always on ability to do some of this stuff is, I think, really, really valuable. So I love that you brought that to us. I love that it does demonstrate your style and in particular our style in general. I think the Motley Fool, there's elements of that, but this is a really Ryan Newman stock. I love that we're talking about it. Man, let's go to the...
Scott, I just want to throw one more thing in there as well. And this is something that a lot of people don't know or don't realize or fully appreciate, is that something like 13 or 15% of the total global technology spend is spent on cloud. When you think about it, that is still an enormous opportunity for more companies to spend on the cloud. And for a company like Gentrak, it ticks a lot of those boxes: subscription and recurring revenues, global exposure beyond just Australia, exposure to structural trends in energy and water transformation, mission critical. These are a lot of boxes that Gentrak is ticking. And as I said, when you look at that opportunity to continue spending in cloud, that is an enormous opportunity in front of it.
I am staggered. I mean, we live in a technologically advanced world. The Motley Fool has been cloud-based for at least the last 10 or so years. I've been here a bit longer than that. But that kind of, like, we've kind of lived in the cloud. Most of the stuff we bought is software as a service that we use to serve our members. To think, and it's not really a surprise, I've heard the numbers before, but when you do say it out loud, $6 out of $7 still on premise. I find it almost hard to believe that those $6 are still being spent, that the companies involved aren't taking advantage of cloud. So as you say, not only is there great growth, there's great runway, right? And those two things together is growing quickly and potential for long-term growth is really cool.
Absolutely.
That being said, we always tell our members, by the way, we like it. It's a buy. We're not trying to be balanced, not 50-50 here. We think it's a buy. We think, you should buy the shares if it makes sense for you. But we always do say, hey, here's the things we are looking at. Here are the risks. Here are the reasons we might sell. Here are the things you need to be aware of that could go wrong. So let's do that for our viewers. What are some of the, if not cons of an investment in Gentrak, what are some of the risks or some of the watch-outs?
Scott, I mentioned mission criticality, and that's one of the big things that I look for in investment. Unfortunately, mission criticality can also be a two-edged sword. And what I mean by that is, for a company like Gentrak, it can actually take a long time to convert these sales. So they've got a strong pipeline of opportunities, but it can take a long time to convince customers or would-be customers to let go of what they're currently using and adopt what Gentrack is offering. So that's one of the things I think that can upend an investment like this, at least in the short and medium term. If there are delays or if there's significant lumpiness in revenue, I think that can sort of throw the market off. And I look, you and I, we know that we're not in it for what the market is looking for, and we are willing to overlook those short-term bumps and hurdles. But if these deals do take longer and longer to realize, which I don't think they will, but there is every chance that they do, then I think that is one of the key risks. Execution risk as well. I mentioned before that the Gentrak does have an excellent track record for installing these systems and implementing them and properly integrating them into the customer systems. If there was a failure, or certainly a high-profile failure, that could also prevent would-be customers from coming on board. I think that would be a really bad thing for Gentrack. Other than that, I think probably the key one would be potential changes in regulation. As I mentioned a minute ago, Gentrack is benefiting from the tailwinds caused by a lot of these regulatory changes. So pushes towards electrifying the system and, I guess, converting from those fossil fuels and towards renewables. If that did retreat, if there wasn't such a regulatory push going forward, then maybe there isn't quite such a push towards solutions like those offered by Gentrack. But even then, I think that's a pretty long shot.
Nice, mate. That sounds like a pretty good argument for at least considering our viewers considering adding Gentrack to their portfolios. Let's wrap it up, mate. Let me do the usual 30 to 60 second elevator pitch. You've spent a lot of time. You've given us a lot of detail, a lot of information. What's the elevator pitch for buying shares in Gentrack?
Look, Scott, mission critical. That's probably the key one for me. I love mission critical businesses or companies that offer mission critical solutions. It's capital light, meaning that it doesn't need to continue investing more and more money. It's already built out a lot of its software, so it can continue to develop it, and I hope it does continue to develop that software. But at the same time, I think those profits are going to start coming through with higher and higher margins over time, and a really strong balance sheet as well. Ticks a lot of boxes for me, Scott. So Gentrack is a company that I really like.
There you go. Gentrack, GTK is the code on the ASX. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of the Motley Fool community here on our YouTube channel. Do me a favor, do all the usual YouTube things for me. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I know everyone says it. Here's the thing. If you've got to this point in the video, you've enjoyed, you've valued, maybe you've learned something, maybe you want to get a bit more of that from the Motley Fool. There's so much stuff on YouTube. A lot of it's great, by the way. But to make sure you get the next Motley Fool Stock of the Month or Stocks in Focus or what I've been reading, episode of Motley Fool TV, live Q&As, lots of stuff we do here on the channel. Just do those things. Again, if you're still here, you probably like to see more of what we're doing. So that's the best way to find it. Ryan, thanks for your expertise. Thanks for sharing your time and your stock with our viewers. Viewers, thanks for watching. And until next time, Fool on.
Fool on.